Hello everyone. In the video on macrolides, we had said that macrolides, lincosamides, streptogramins are generally considered together because if the bacteria develop resistance to macrolides, then generally the resistance is also against the lincosamide and streptogramins. So I told that they are considered as MLSB antibiotics, as B here is for streptogramins B. So in that video we covered only macrolides. So today we are going to talk about other antibiotics, that is lincosamides, streptogramins and some other antibiotics as well. So lincosamides consist of only one antibiotic, that is clindamycin, and this clindamycin acts again by inhibition of the protein synthesis. So clindamycin binds to 50S ribosomal unit, and it blocks the enzyme peptidyl transferase. So this peptidyl transferase is responsible for forming the bond between the growing peptide chain and the new amino acid which has come and bound to the A side along with the tRNA. So if this peptidyl transferase enzyme is blocked, then there will be no peptide bond formation and the peptide chain will not grow any further. So this will block the protein synthesis, right? So that is clindamycin mechanism of action. Now what is the spectrum? Well, it is active against gram-positive cocci, but it is not used much against this gram-positive cocci. Its main action for which it is used because of its activity against anaerobes, especially the bacteroids. Okay, so anaerobes, especially the bacteroids, this clindamycin is used, and it is also used for certain parasites. Okay. But remember that even against this bacteroids there is rising resistance, and lately metronidazole is being used. Okay. So what will be the uses of clindamycin? Well, wherever there can be chances of anaerobic infection, so aspiration pneumonia, intra-abdominal and pelvic infection, diabetic foot infection, then osteomyelitis. So all these places clindamycin is used, and osteomyelitis because clindamycin can penetrate very well into the bones. Okay, so that is why it is used in osteomyelitis. Then it also has uses in case of necrotizing fasciitis, toxic shock syndrome and gas gangrene. Well, these are caused by gram-positive bacteria, and their pathophysiology is mainly because of the toxin which is being released. So, necrotizing fasciitis and toxic shock syndrome is caused by the release of toxins from staph and streptococcus. So, in case of necrotizing fasciitis and toxic shock syndrome, clindamycin is used along with penicillin. Well, penicillin will act against the bacteria and clindamycin will stop toxin production. Okay. So, yes, one there is direct attack on bacteria, and the second is directly preventing the toxin production. So, both are required in these cases. And next is gas gangrene. In gas gangrene, well, surgical debridement is the main treatment, but along with that, clindamycin again, by preventing the toxin production from Clostridium, it is efficient in gas gangrene. So, what are the other uses of clindamycin? Well, other uses include the parasites. It is used for multi-drug resistant Plasmodium falciparum infection. It is used in AIDS patient for toxoplasmosis and Pneumocystis jirovecii. So, that were the uses of clindamycin. What are its adverse effects? One, it blocks neuromuscular junction. So, patients with myasthenia gravis are very sensitive to clindamycin because they can experience severe muscle weakness if they are given clindamycin. And also, clindamycin can cause Clostridium difficile superinfection. See, this is a bacteria which is present in the gut. With clindamycin basically causes the depletion of other bacteria from the gut, and this leads to proliferation of this bacteria. So that is Clostridium difficile superinfection, a very dangerous condition. So in this case, immediately clindamycin needs to be stopped and the treatment for this infection has to be started. Then moving on to the next drug, that is streptogramins. So streptogramins, as I said, there is streptogramins A and streptogramins B. So dalfopristin is a streptogramin A, while quinupristin is a streptogramin B, and they are given in the ratio of 70:30. That is, dalfopristin is given as 70 part and quinupristin as 30 part, and it is given IV. However, in books you will see that it is given as 30:70 ratio. Actually 30 is streptogramin B. Okay, so even though it is given 30:70 ratio, it is streptogramin B. So that is why I have written here as 70:30 ratio. However, the convention is to use 30:70 ratio with 30 parts being streptogramin B. Now their mechanism of action is same as macrolides. That means it is preventing the translocation of the growing peptide from A back to the P site. Okay, so it binds to 50S ribosome and again it causes the inhibition of polypeptide elongation. Now, why are they given in combination? Well, streptogramin A, that is the dalfopristin, increases the binding of quinupristin. Well, both act by same mechanism, but when given together, they act synergistically because this streptogramin A increases the affinity of 50S ribosome to this streptogramin B, that is quinupristin. So now the same drug becomes bactericidal. When given alone, it is bacteriostatic. It is a protein synthesis inhibitors and most of the protein synthesis inhibitors are bacteriostatic. But when given together, this combination becomes synergistic because of increased binding of quinupristin and this becomes bactericidal. Now, what is the spectrum? Well, similar to macrolides, gram-positive cocci and intracellular bacteria. However, remember that this is a last resort drug which is used for treatment of vancomycin resistance epithelium infection. Okay, so it is used in hospitals obviously and treatment of infection by multiple drug resistant gram-positive organisms, that is VRE. Okay, vancomycin resistant Enterococcus faecium infection. However, again this drug streptogramins is not the first drug to be used in this case. In fact, there is other drug which we are going to talk because of its adverse effects and main adverse effect being infusion phlebitis, because as soon as it is giving IV, there will be severe phlebitis and that is why this requires central line. So this becomes a major limitation factor for using streptogramins. Okay, then there are also myalgia and arthralgias. Then it is a cytochrome P3A4 inhibitor and thus can lead to QT prolongation when given with other drugs. Okay, so these are the major limiting factors for use of streptogramins. So there are better drugs now and in fact they are the ones which are being used for your multi-drug resistant bacteria and these are oxazolidinones. Okay, and this includes linezolid and tedizolid. These are also protein synthesis inhibitors. However, their mechanism of action is very unique as compared to the macrolides, lincosamides and streptogramins. I told you that if there is resistance for one antibiotic, then generally these other lincosamides and streptogramins also become, the bacteria become resistant to these as well. Well, they don't become resistant to linezolid and tedizolid because this has a unique mechanism of action. Well, this binds to P site of 50S ribosomal chromosome. So here it binds and see, synthesis of protein starts by binding of F-methionine tRNA to this P site. That is the first step. Okay. So this blocks, linezolid blocks this binding of F-methionine tRNA to this P site. So this is a unique mechanism of action. All the other antibiotics which we saw, they are acting afterwards. They are either inhibiting the peptidyl transferase, they are inhibiting the translocation, but here it is the first site where they are acting. So that is why the resistance doesn't develop to these drugs. Okay. So these are the drugs which are used in case of multi-drug resistant bacteria, especially for methicillin resistant Staph aureus, vancomycin resistant Staph aureus and vancomycin resistant Enterococcus faecium also. Okay. Now what are the adverse effects? Well, if given for more than 2 weeks, there is decrease in the blood counts, decrease platelets, decrease RBC, decrease WBC, and if given for more than 4 weeks, then there are chances of developing neuropathy. However, these adverse effects are less with tedizolid. Okay, so tedizolid, if needed to give for more duration, then tedizolid can be used. Also, these drugs can be given both orally and parenterally. We saw streptogramins, they are given only IV, right? So that was about lincosamides, streptogramins and oxazolidinones. Thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, do press the like button, do share the video with others, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel Physiology Open. Thank you.